When 2.5-year-old Nolan was diagnosed with autism, he struggled with low muscle tone, which impacted his gross motor skills and overall development significantly. Nolan really struggled with walking due to hypotonia or low tone and poor sensory processing, along with limited speech and frequent stimming behaviors. Though Nolan had been in early intervention therapy for over 2 years, his mother felt that he was stuck and unable to progress. As she shares, despite ongoing therapy, we felt he was stuck and had plateaued in progress. Nolan desperately needed to help build his core strength, coordination, and regulation skills. And it turns out that the root cause of those challenges wasn't problems with his muscles and joints, but instead with his central and autonomic nervous system that controls and coordinates all of that motor tone and coordination in a developing child. That's when they finally found us. Neurologically focused pediatric chiropractors, Nolan experienced some major breakthroughs with his low tone and began to progress once again in his gross motor development, sensory processing, and so much more. Nolan has now gone from struggling to walking to now being able to run. Huge strides forward. So let's talk through some of the stats. Up to 50% of children with autism struggle with low muscle tone. And many kids struggling with things like sensory processing disorders, speech delays, and ADHD have challenges with low muscle tone and in coordination as well. This demonstrates an important link between hypotonia and each of the most common developmental disorders in kids, especially autism. So, what causes this low muscle tone? The most common contributing factor, like breech positioning in utero, high stress pregnancies, and physical birth trauma from things like forceps, delivery, vacuum extraction, induction, and C-sections, are often overlooked in low muscle tone and autism, which is still today generally described as genetic. All of these early triggers and challenges lead to nervous system dysfunction and sensory processing disorders that erupt or disrupt the neurological pathways that signal our muscles to move and hold positions. Interference with the nervous system communication leads to low tone and other developmental challenges in kids and must be addressed first before changes in progress can be made with the muscles and expected to stick or last. When we have a high stuck tone and hypertonicity that sets in before low tone in the core, we can get this explanation with how in utero constraint and birth trauma create tension, hypertonicity, and subluxation in the upper neck, brainstem, and upper back, or the traps, that then get tension and tone stuck there so that the brain can't get the tone to the core and extremities that it needs. There are some other challenges that low tone can create. These motor deficits can affect a child's confidence, self-esteem, and willingness to participate in sports or other social activities. Their challenges and frustrations mount as their kids progress faster and faster, get involved with sports, and so forth, and they continue to struggle. So how can neurologically focused chiropractic care help with low tone? While traditional therapy approaches focus solely on strengthening the muscles, working on core strength, and so forth, to really address low motor tone, we dive even deeper into the real root cause, something called subluxation and neuromuscular dysfunction. The key to restoring strength and function is to add what is called neurotonal chiropractic adjustments, which address the imbalance and interference within the nervous system and restore and enhance communication between the brain and muscles. Our adjustments can activate key neurological pathways to improve core strength, stability, posture, and movement. So it all starts with finding the real root cause through our neurological insight scans. The most important element of helping kids with low muscle tone is running our neuromuscular EMG scans, which measure and detect the disruptions and alterations in the communication between the nerves and the muscles. Here's a picture of one of those scans that is that surface EMG. And what we see is a lot of tension in the neck and in the sacral areas. Those are two big parts that control that vagal tone. And so when we have a lot of tension and disruption through there, the brain can't get information down to the core and the rest of the muscles to give it the proper input for tone. So then we start to see a suppress, or you can see that the black lines through that picture start running in really concave through the middle. And that's where we see that low motor tone in the core. So, if your child struggles with low muscle tone, affecting their physical abilities, development, and confidence, we know how frustrating it is. You want to see them thriving, running, and playing without restrictions, and you want to make sure that their overall brain and nervous system development is on track for speech, socialization, and behavioral regulation later in life. The first step is to schedule your child's Insight EMG scan at our office to accurately measure and locate the neuromuscular stress, subluxation, and dysfunction that's creating the low tone challenges for your child. From there, we can precisely tailor a care plan and adjusting protocol to help restore neurological communication, connection, and tone to your child's nervous system so that the muscles finally respond to activity and therapy and get back on track developmentally. So often, parents report to us that they can see motor tone changes and improvements in a matter of just a few adjustments or a few minutes, and their child is off to the races from there. Please comment below, send us a DM, or check out the link in our bio to learn more about how neurologically focused chiropractic care and us here at Generations Chiropractic might be able to help your child's neuromotor low tone and coordination challenges.